If you are a fan of platformer fighters, you are doing yourself a massive disservice to not pay attention to what Aether Studios and Dan Fornes is doing with their next Rivals of Aether project. It doesn't really have a title as of now. I think I'm just going to call it Rivals 3D because that's pretty much what it looks like right now. And that game is looking really dope as of now anyways. Now, I do want to point out that the game does not look perfect. There are things that can easily work on, but it is very early in development. So I'm not expecting, the first alpha footage we're seeing to be, incredibly high budget or anything like that. That'd be insane to me. But it looks like what is going on so far is extremely impressive. If you didn't already know, Rivals of Aether is basically coming out with a sequel game that is utilizing certain mechanics that Rivals of Aether just never had before, and is going fully 3D. Not in its movement, but its, characters, its models, its stages, like those kind of things. Now, if you are someone who hasn't played Rivals of Aether before, it is a 2D platformer fighter in the same vein as you can expect, like Super Smash Bros., like many of you have already played before. It is available on the Switch and PC, and on PC you can kind of like download custom characters through the Steam Workshop. It's a really good game, and in my personal opinion, it is the best the platformer fighter genre has to offer that isn't called Super Smash Bros. I would recommend that if you were going to play more than one platformer fighter, you would play through, Super Smash Bros. And, pick up Rivals of Aether. And who knows, maybe Multiversus down the line if it ends up being a really solid game. But as of now, I would say Rivals of Aether is still the best there is. And they're not resting on their laurels. They're definitely doing some cool stuff down the line. I believe the Rivals of Aether 2D, I'm going to refer to it as that now, is also getting like a free update on PC and Switch soon. That's going to be adding 4 characters to the game that originated from the Steam Workshop itself. So that's going to be pretty cool to see some characters that kind of fit the Rivals of Aether like lore and world, and putting it into the main roster for people that don't even play on PC. Like I think that's a really dope addition. And again, they're not resting on their laurels. They've been working on other projects like Rivals 3D, but they also did a Clarin comic book series on, I believe the app is called Comixology. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. You can correct me in the comments if you feel like letting me know what the pronunciation is. But essentially, Clarin's a character from the game. They got a whole comic series going on with really cool artwork and all, and a story and whatnot. Check that out. Support it if you want. They've also been making little side project games, like there was Creatures of Aether, which I believe was unfortunately canceled, and they also have like other games as well that is being supported. So the main idea basically just stems down to what is Rivals of Aether 3D looking like, and it looks so far phenomenal to me. The main point of this video is just to bring attention to it and show you guys how it looks. And in the original Rivals of Aether, we did not have things like grabs, we didn't have things like shields, and we didn't really know why at the time. At first, I thought the main reason was because the game was going for more an aggressive playstyle, like, something more, not as defensive as like Super Smash Bros. And other platformer fighters that came before it. They were hoping to make something that was more aggressive and would have people constantly fighting, while playing the game, and kind of just support that aggressive playstyle. I like that. Other people like that, and clearly it gravitated towards a good amount of the Super Smash Bros. Community. However, as a blog post would tell us, Dan Fornes' main reason why these mechanics were not involved in the original Rivals of Aether has pretty much nothing to do with that. Like, that just kind of what ended up giving Rivals a bit of its, attention, but it is not the reason why they don't have those mechanics in the original game. The main reason, apparently, according to Dan Fornes, was because at the time the scope in what he was able to do with the game was considerably lower, being the only developer. So instead of spending time making those animations for a grab and for a shield, he decided to just omit those things, primarily to lower the scope of the game, lessen the amount of animations required to make that possible, so that way he'd actually be successful in getting the game out there, successfully launching and finishing the game, right? And I think that's fine, considering that he was on this project by himself at the time, and now it's become this Aether Studios. There's a whole development team now. I don't know how large the team is as of now. I have seen a couple of people on Twitter that are involved in creating Rivals 3D, like video effects and effects artists and people who work with like the stage design and whatnot. But I'm not entirely sure what the exact number is and how many people are working at Aether Studios. But I will say that it seems very much worth it. It seems like it's paying off like a fair amount, and I think that the game is looking dope so far. Now, obviously, when you're looking at the gameplay, I'm playing the gameplay for you now that was released on this video right now. You'll see like the game looks cool. However, there are some things they can work on. For example, like certain things like the background, you know, they could add more detail to the background. The animation where Raster, the bird character, if you're unaware, kind of just like freezes in the air before like doing his attack. I feel like there should be some kind of animation that kind of shows that there's an attack happening and they just didn't like freeze the animation. Maybe something like flashing Raster before he dives down, or maybe something where like he's slowly like, you know, lifting his legs to, you know, prepare to kick, so you see the feedback of that kick about to happen. But I'm not a game developer. I don't know how difficult that would be, or, you know, how much time that would take. But I do think that the potential for what we're seeing right now is extremely good. And I think all I'm trying to say at the end of the day, when it comes to this video in particular, is that if you are someone who plays Super Smash Bros. And you are open to trying out a new game that isn't Super Smash Bros., please take a look at Rivals of Aether. Play the 2D game. It is on Switch right now. Support the developers on this. It is a great game. It's probably one of the best, if not the best, platformer fighter out there. Highly recommend it. And you are doing yourself a disservice if you are not playing it when you have some kind of interest in this genre. You also should be taking a look at the Rivals of Aether 3D project. And if you're interested in what the world is, how the world looks, the lore, and that kind of thing, you could also support their comics. It's on there. You can take a look and see if it seems something that's, I don't know, up your alley maybe. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see where this game goes. I'm excited to see it fully completed. I'm not expecting this game to release anytime soon. I'm just trying to bring attention to it, so that way when the game does come around, you know, maybe there'll be a bit of a hype around it, right? About it. Maybe see it in Nintendo Direct. I don't know. I don't know how advertising works as an indie developer. I'm not an expert in this sort of thing at all. But if Dan and the rest of the team is able to get this game on an Indies Direct or a Nintendo Direct or whatever the case may be, I think that'd be really good for them too. But I don't know how this works. I'm just excited for this game, and I'm hoping that the world takes a good look at it, and I'm hoping it gets as much attention and hype around it as possible. I already know that, like, apparently according to Twitter, certain, you know, high-profile Smash players are testing the game. So why not? Why not check it out and take a look? It looks dope, so I recommend it. But let me know if you have any interest in this game at all. You know, comment about that kind of thing, write it down, you know, mail it, whatever, and just let me know if you have any interest. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Shifty, yeah, Shifty, wanna be the #1 gamer, come and get me. It'd be dope if you subscribe, could you like the vid, please? Take your time, you don't gotta do it swiftly. Shifty, Shifty, wanna be